You did it with Marcus last session. One of the session before that, one of the two.
Like,
maybe
the vast
that
majority of the
take.
times that someone's been thrown under the bus, Joseph's been the one doing the throwing.
We threw Joseph under the bus like twice.
Meanwhile... So, David, Byron, and Marcus had all been trying to make their way to Madison Square Garden? Is that right? Or is David... Okay. In that case, you all, without event or incident, arrive at Madison Square Garden. Looks peaceful. You know, have at least some security force. You all are, trained and observant enough, and you've been here enough times to know that, you know, they're active, you know, making sure that, humans are staying away. As far away as possible.
Alright.
Going into the interior, there's some talking filtering in from one of the rooms, the big room that ends up being used for like these sort of gatherings that Marlena has done before. Doesn't sound like her voice. It's hard to make out the words here. Where would you like to go? Up to the box?
Yep, that's pretty much the destination.
Okay. What will the entrance order be like?
Marcus is going last.
David's going first.
I
Okay.
guess that means that I go middle.
The trip through the passageways of Madison Square Garden goes without incident, and you manage to get yourselves led into the room where, sure enough, Theo Bell is there, behind the desk, no glasses, no breathe right strip, shotgun propped against the back wall, leather jacket cast over a chair, papers still everywhere, like his entire night consists of reviewing intel. The sound of the door opening, he looks up, he sees David Green, he sees Byron behind, you know, he has a neutral expression, and then Marcus, and the Archon blinks.
Okay. Am I still connected, or is everyone just silent?
We're just silent. I thought that, I guess Byron will say, so, David, you have that tape on you? Because if you do, he'll take it and say, we have something you may need to look at.
Theo stands up, leaps over the desk.
David will take a step back.
Byron takes a step to the side to make room.
The Archon says, "Have you spoken with your other companion, Joseph, as of late?"
Yes?
Theo sort of peers around the Nosferatu at Marcus. "Did he by chance happen to tell you what would happen the next time I saw you here?"
Do I have time to blood on stamina?
Would you like to spend blood on stamina?
If what's going to happen when I think it's going to happen, I kind of would like to spend blood on stamina.
Are Are you going to respond to the Archon?
He said you do something? I don't exactly remember if Joseph told exactly what the Archon said. He might have said
Yeah,
something else.
he mentioned he'll put him through the window. He did say that. I remember
You'll
because
You'll put me through the window?
Theo nods. Yes, I do believe I said I was going to suplex you through the glass.
I just putting this out there. I love the way he said that. Put me through the window.
By the way, I did spend a point of blood on that.
Okay. Archon has a rolling sort of glide as, papers and folders flutter down behind him that he disturbed when he leapt over the desk. Unless there's a reason I shouldn't, Marcus.
You probably want to see what's on the tape before you go and ruin a perfectly good window. Just saying.
Theo blinks. Stops looking around David, looks at David. Tape.
Taken from outside of my haven last night.
Oh.
But I mean, if the window's more urgent, I can wait a minute or two.
No, the window will always be there.
Alright, do you guys have a VCR here?
Let's go get one. Theo, leans out the door, calls out to one of the guards standing there. Takes a few minutes, but, you know how, like, in school, when they used to, like, rent out, like, you had audio and video equipment from the library, and then have, like, the cart that the VCR rides on?
Right, with, like, a projector on top.
Yeah, that's what the VCR comes in on, a little cart. TV. Alright. Let's... Yeah, Theo positions it, against the back wall, we'll say there. Operate it for me. Let's see what it has.
Alright, David puts it in, rewinds it to the right place, and hits play.
It plays without incident. The 20 to 25 foot tentacle with red and purple skin coloration, if you want to call it skin coloration, suckers on one end dripping blood and slime, emerges from the ground and begins viciously slamming into the haven door, coming close to knocking it off. And then after 73 seconds, it retracts itself back into the ground. David, you're being observant enough. Theo doesn't have his glasses on. The eyes just sort of widen a bit. The jaw just slightly sort of lowers from its normal position. His mouth is just a little bit agape.
Alright, well, after it ends and after David waits a few seconds patiently, he'll say, "That's, the way it comes out of the ground, that's what the snowman's arms did."
Theo blinks. And, he says what might not be comforting words. What the hell is that?
Yeah, we've got nothing.
Sort of blinks, rewinds the tape a little bit, has it paused, plays a little bit, stops it, just to see the tentacle and its various movements and actions. I can only assume this is some sort of Zamitzi flesh-crafted thing, but I've not quite heard of them doing this.
Yeah, well, the snowman that shot lasers was pretty new to us, too.
But you all killed that, and even Byron was the one to finish it off. He was the last kindred standing, right?
Yep. And, it certainly didn't have tentacles like that.
Now, I know the elder fiends, those who are very skilled in their crafts, can pretty much make their bodies into anything they want, but from every report that I had gotten, Sevalot died. We certainly didn't see him down there. Well,
Yeah, we're pretty much at a loss, too.
there might be a silver lining to this. The Madison Square Garden is basically full of Tremere right now. Genie is actually downstairs speaking with many of the warlocks and some of his other supporters. They would have better knowledge about this than I would. He just, blinks at, rewinds, fast forward, rewind. This,
Is the high... Go on, never mind.
were there any markings outside of your haven beyond the door?
Not that I noticed. And, I think I would have noticed if there was some Ouroboros scrawled somewhere.
It's certainly interesting how the ground just sort of shuffles right back into place as if it wasn't even disturbed at all by the thing.
I wouldn't have even known it was there if it weren't for the dents in the door.
I wonder why it suddenly vanished like that. He looks towards you three. I certainly wouldn't ask why it was there to begin with. You always manage to attract attention.
Yeah, I got nothing. Maybe it's because of the snowman, or I don't know.
You have any reason to suspect why it would be hunting you?
Me in particular?
Yes.
No, I don't know.
Damn it, I hate asking the warlocks for anything.
Yeah, I know, right?
Especially now that they know that we took the heart from Sevalod's haven. Theo peers around David, staring at Marcus.
Might as well figure out where I'm going to be ending up in a few minutes.
Theo looks at Marcus while his back is turned. David and Byron will see a shadow of a smile appear on the Archon's face.
Byron will just cough nervously.
No, Marcus, it wouldn't do if the Archon himself violated the tenets of Elysium. But you can make up for it by following me. I'm not going to talk to the damn warlocks out by myself.
Okie dokie.
You're gonna want to keep the tape for this, aren't you?
Theo nods. Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Whether
I'd kind of like it back later tonight to go talk to the Nosferatu about it.
this is Madison Square Garden. There's got to be recording equipment here somewhere.
Oh yeah, definitely. Copy of it can certainly be made. Theo will definitely want a copy to constantly look at that and go, ha.
Yeah, no, I'm sure that a few copies are going to get made tonight.
Theo says,
Hell.
well,
If all goes well, the Nosferatu might end up with a copy before I even get there.
and Theo actually takes the time, he slides his jacket on and his sunglasses, and he puts on his New York Yankees cap. Says, all right, let's go. And Theo begins walking away from the booth, taking you all with him. You folks should be able to see the map just fine now, the Madison Square Garden map.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Walking back down to the first floor after taking the various passageways that lead from the private box. Voices get louder again. Walking into that main sort of hall room that has been used in the past by Kadir and Marlena and others. You see, it's actually Jeannie who has the podium discussing things. If it was going to be just like a strictly Tremere thing, they probably wouldn't be here at all. But there are some Toreador and Ventru gathered along too. Valentine, the keeper of the Elysium, is off there in the corner. The house doesn't look quite as packed as it is for Marlena. And there's no Duke Wily standing behind Jeannie. All the same, the talking comes to a halt as the Archon walks in with the three of you. Jeannie sort of blinks, looking over the podium. Dressed. He's actually dressed in a suit. Apparently, whenever he leaves the Maupassant room, he's decorated in the severe Tremere clothing. Got a tie going and everything. He's got some gloves on his strong, big hands. Reminds you of a certain woman. A girl, really. He says, Archon, what can we do for you? Are you here as a spectator? Archon waves him off. Goes to have a sit down. Choosing this chair. The Toreador who's over here decides to relocate.
Warm chair.
Warm chair. No, they're a corpse. No. The chair is not warm.
Formerly occupied chair. I guess David just could sit there at the doorway.
No Nosferatu in here. David gets a few looks out of the corner of eyes, as he walks past, being a sewer rat and everything.
He smiles at them.
Yes.
With his too wide mouth.
The Toreador are not amused by this.
He smiles a little bit wider.
Yeah. Or collectively whispering towards another, like an elbow points towards David. Disapproval apparent. The talking just goes through Jeannie basically discussing all sorts of political affairs and the current state of New York City, and talking about the other candidates and why they're bad choices, and it's nothing you folks haven't ended up hearing before, especially with the three-pronged stalemate, especially because Genie still seems as if, he's on the bad end of this one. As it turns out, looking over, most of the attendees are Tremere, some of whose names you require, including the short dwarf, the imp himself, Lord Ephraim Wainwright, the High Regent, the newly crowned one, who is actually glancing over his shoulder more often than not towards Theo, rather curiously. But it seems that Genie was in the sort of tail end of what he was trying to discuss. They might have already gathered here and spent some time discussing affairs. Eventually, Genie breaks it off, and sort of the groups break off together to sort of discuss things on their own. The Toreador who had gathered actually all leave, giving final sort of glowers back at David.
We're all shook. Guess I gotta follow them. The Toreador leave. Mark's a good. What?
Valentine leaves as well, and the Ventru who had gathered, they too leave. Meaning this is a place now full of warlocks. Sort of like break into groups, discuss things, having a great time. We go ahead and shift around some more people for maximum fun. To show this is a living and vibrant and breathing world. Keep the illusion alive. Genie himself actually ends up getting met by the High Regent, who has a few words to say. And then the High Regent, along with Genie, end up walking towards where you all are sitting. It's this would be the first time any of you have really seen the imp up close, and his short stature, his nickname, the Imp, is certainly a well-deserved. Although it's also fair to say that no one would call him that straight to his face, especially anyone who is not Tremere. Actually, come to think of it, anyone who was Tremere, unless they actually outranked him, probably wouldn't want to do that either. And Genie, for his part, definitely looks uncomfortable around him. But he's still got that, or maybe he's just uncomfortable in his suit. It's hard to say. I've described to you all how friendly and congenial Genie looks. As for the High Regent, he's about half the height of other kindred. He's got a snubbed, ugly face that he actually hides behind old-timey glasses like a Victorian gentleman's. He definitely has formal clothing. Way formal. Sort of like, not like a tuxedo this time, but if he were an old-timer in the Victorian era. And of course, the clothes are made to match his short stature. He's got a stovepipe hat on too. Which, looks like bigger than his head. The Archon stands. Ephraim. Eugenio. The eyes behind the Victorian glasses sort of glitter. Ah, Theo, what brings you here to our meeting area? A sort of cold smile appears on the High Regent's face. Eugenio, for his part, says nothing. Theo says, These gentlemen here have brought something interesting that the two of you probably would want to see. It's sort of an interesting topic that would best suit you. The High Regent considered this, looks at Eugenio and says, Eugenio, will you be coming along? And Eugenio replies, actually, High Regent, I have some uh, affairs to attend to, if you don't mind. High Regent just stares up at Eugenio. Yes, yes, fine, I will take a look at this myself. Please, looking back at the Archon, lead the way. The Archon nods and proceeds to walk out. Yeah, the High Regent sort of looks at the three of you, supposed lackeys, who are following with the Archon. Just gives you a nice smile, about as friendly as Aisling Sturbridge's smiles ever were towards you when you met her. Which is to say, not.
I guess David's just gonna sit here and, look pretty for the, oh.
When you say look pretty,
He means damn nice.
Eugenio disperses back into the groups to begin discussing things. And the five of you, making a pretty cross, make your way back to the sort of private box area. Where the tape is still still there in the VCR, where it was paused actually right before the tentacle emerges. High Regent walks in. Can you tell me, Archon, now that we're all isolated with you and your friends, what this is all about? Theo's like, watch, Ephraim. Look. Presses play. Steps aside. Ephraim gets to a better position to see over the desk with all the papers unpiled and looks at the television. And his eyes widen. Where did this happen?
Outside of my haven.
The High Regent sort of swivels his head, looks past by. Your haven?
My haven.
When did this happen?
Last night, while I was out and about, I caught on my security system. I checked it when I noticed the dents in the door.
Yeah, he slides his glasses down a little, just staring up at David. Your haven last night. Breathes deeply, suspiciously. Ah, yes. I remember the three of you. Yes. Aisling told me about you and your friend, Joseph, I think his name was. Ah, and your mysterious dealings with all sorts of interesting creatures. And your mission to retrieve the curious item that you discovered from a most perplexing flesh-crafted creature. Yes, I know of you.
David allows himself a slight glance towards Theobel.
Theobel is keeping a neutral expression on this, although his eyes tend to be focused more on the High Regent. Sort of shifts back a little. Well, you three have anything to say for yourselves? Perhaps this is a retaliatory strike conducted for your various decisive strikes. Certainly, you three have managed to make a name for yourselves, especially with Theobald crowing how competent and capable you are.
The thought certainly crossed my mind.
And what brings you here now, perhaps scurrying and scuttling for help? Perhaps something far beyond your league, looking for Tremir's help once more.
Actually, I was hoping that the Archon might know something about it, or might be able to use it otherwise. That or the Justicar.
He looks at Ephraim, looks at Theo. Theo looks at the High Regent, and Theo says, I figured that you would know best of the Zamitzi, given it how it's your personal specialty, Ephraim. Indeed, we have most certainly made it our specialty to know, and Tremir's will most certainly has not been defied. Why, take a look at the ruin and devastation we brought to Severard. And just as what happened when with Genie's face, whenever he said the name Sevalod, the facial features on the High Regent contort and undisguised disgust and hatred. But you three have quite managed to get yourselves into another interesting pickle, I think it's called. Yes, well, that there, sort of looking between Byron and David, is undoubtedly the artwork of some fiend that is still within the city, perhaps a child of Sevalod's who wishes vengeance in some form or fashion and has somehow come about your names. Naturally, we dealt with Sevalod himself, along with many of his foul creations, but undoubtedly he has sired many, and one of them may have come here to speak of the matter. Naturally, we Tremere will do our best to hunt the creature down and exterminate it. We cannot be anywhere, everywhere, particularly in front of your haven, sewer rat. The eyes behind the glasses glint. You might have to invest in better security if such an attack occurred. It might do so again. It might very well know where you live. And perhaps your contacts and dealings with this mystical item that by chance so managed to be in your possession not once but twice, along with that curious snowman that had attacked you prior, along with everything else. Indeed, your recognition has made it such that your name is known to more than just us. The smile remains cold. As for what Tremere can do to assist in this matter, looking back at the television, shrugs. Looks just as I am sure you all thought. A creation of the fiends. Its will and purpose, unknown, but perhaps tied to its creator, and seeing as how they have their own nefarious, insane purpose to things, it probably was intentional. Although I imagine, given its size, that it could have broken through the door if it so wished. I was curious that it decided to vanish. Perhaps it was leaving you a message, David. Tell me, is there anything you think a Zamitzi fiend would have to say to you, sewer rat?
Aside from complimenting my good looks, you mean?
He gestures with either hand towards Marcus and Byron. You? Any sort of message that would need to be left? Did you perhaps have a bad break? Unresolved dealings?
Countless.
Well, I wish you all luck in them. Anyway, that does take care of anything that I can do for you. I will now be taking my leave. You three take care of yourselves. Perhaps Astoria will continue to prosper under your tender watch.
Sort of chuckles
Yes.
a little to himself.
Thank you for your time.
The High Regent walks up, looks up at, the Archon, who's at least 3 feet taller than him. The Archon looks down.
Theo, we have not forgotten what you've done. What are you going to do about it, Ephraim? Oh, just let Tremere never forget. Good night, imp.
The High Regent scowls, but says nothing further, and walks out. Theo watches him go. Looks towards the three of you.
Do you see what I have to deal with?
What in the actual fuck is wrong with that little thing?
He's a warlock.
Yeah, but I mean, that can only explain so much. Look at Genie.
It is said that he saw his promotion to becoming High Regent as a quite pleasurable experience. He's an ass to begin with, but now he's the most powerful Tremere ass here in the city.
So, just the most powerful Tremere in the city has a Napoleon complex.
He feels he has been slighted over the course of his life and unlife, I am sure, and the young ones, he probably doesn't view on them too kindly, and certainly, unlike Aisling, he does not view outsiders with at least any sort of respect.
Just talking to him, I wanted to break his nose.
Yeah, I get that.
He gestures towards the window.
I'd like to send him through the window too, but then I'd have to deal with Tremere's will.
Maybe you'll get lucky when you'll send him and me through the window.
If you wanted to send him through that window, Marcus, I would consider forgetting what you've done.
You'd have to consider forgetting me because I'd probably be dead before the sun rose.
Well, that's why I said I'd forget it.
Touché.
Regardless,
Theo gestures towards the television with the frozen tentacle image.
shrugs. Whatever you four have managed to do over the course of these past few months, it has undoubtedly drawn attention, and this is likely a sign that it's not over. What that all entails, I don't know, but you may wish to perhaps increase your security, maybe even stick together. About the only ones who are safe from it, I imagine, are if you want to somehow sneak into a chantry and hide there for the rest of your lives, it probably couldn't break into that.
Oh yeah, I mean, you know us Nosferatu, we just love living in Tremere chantries.
Oh, well, of course. You have to live somewhere.
And I mean, where else but somewhere that people can really look at you?
Speaking of that, where is your friend?
He said he had other things to deal with.
Well, I hope that he is not visited while he is alone. He shrugs. Again, I do not know the extent of this. As far as I'm aware, Sevalod is gone along with Kadir and the elements, all of the crafted creations, but I imagine there still might be one facet or two that might have been left as some sort of backup measure, or perhaps, as the imp said, a child who does not take too kindly to what you have done.
Or it could come from wherever the snowman came from.
That,
Who the fuck
as
knows where that is?
well, you didn't get any more information on that, huh?
Well, I mean, it had the heart of Victoru in it, so... who knows?
Let me tell you how much the Tremere have told me about that.
He holds up a little circle he makes with his index finger and thumb. 0.
Yeah, that's not a surprise.
Might be time to look into might be a time to look into some of those. Nah. Looking in those, there's no way none of the little obscure cult-like shops around New York City could know anything about it.
Well, I mean, some might, but good luck finding them and filtering them out from the rest.
Theo says,
I am sure there are many individuals who'd have an opinion on that.
Alright, well, I'm gonna go take this tape to the Nosferatu. Do you want me to let your people make a copy of this?
It's already been done.
Alright.
We were out. And, thank you for...
and then Theo stops because there is a loud, piercing scream which reverberates all the way from the ground floor Madison Square Garden and actually ends up echoing through the room here, the box. What the hell? Theo swivels his head to look at the door. Looking out through the window of the box, all you end up seeing is like the arena floor where games are played. It doesn't seem that anything is going on down there. The scream happens again. It sounds like it's coming from that large meeting room.
David's gonna start running.
Yeah.
Like full speed.
Yep. Theo is doing that as well.
As we're running, I'm spending another point on dexterity because I'm like,
Okay.
is this the same scene, by the way?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so I've increased my stamina by 1 and I've increased my dexterity by 1.
David's actually just going to, It is boosting your attributes considered a violation of Elysium?
No. It's not a discipline to do so.
Okay, because I was
And-
about to say that I was going to grow claws, and then I was like,
Mm,
no.
But growing claws would be a discipline.
Right, that's exactly what I thought. So, I'm going to dump 3 points into stamina.
yeah, we're chasing after Theo.
Sounds like a plan. Byron will do the same. 3 points in the stamina.
Okay. You individuals return to downstairs, running very quickly. Theo, of course, is still quite fast, but Marcus and David themselves have quite a lot of speed associated with them as well. Returning to the large meeting room place thing, the screams themselves end up growing louder. Yeah, you might want to update your tokens with any sort of pertinent information. as what appears to be 4 of the same things that you all saw in the tape end up one by one before any of you can react, dragging down each of the Tremere, the 4 Tremere who were left down into the ground, with Genie sort of, trying to focus and channel his energies, letting out a yelp of surprise and pain as he's yanked down as well. With all 4 tentacles then following suit, and as they retract back into the ground, dragging these Tremere, kicking and screaming, the wooden floor itself rematerializes and forms back to new behind them.
Well, shit.
Theo's eyes are widened. He actually leaps up to this spot where Genie just sort of vanished. He breaks through the fucking floor, is like trying to dig out into it. He's like,
There's fucking nothing down here!
I got nothing.
Could it be something in the sewers? I mean,
What the fuck could do this from the sewers?
It just... Well, the floor's in... Well, it's mostly intact. The floor's intact!
Theo's just, he's dug down quite a lot through his intense strength and speed, and he's like,
There's nothing here to note that they were here.
on his knees, bits of floor, and the foundation below, like, strewed around him.
David's going to slowly run a hand over his face. Do you have security cameras here?
They're the kind place numerous cameras, of course, but those are something that are deactivated during the night, so we don't even have to worry about records of anything.
David actually lifts up a chair and throws it across the room. Well, who do you think the Tremere are going to blame for Genie disappearing? With us as the only witnesses.
Theo sort of chuckles, on his knees.
I would have to imagine after what we showed him that the fucking Zemits... Oh, but they think Sevalot's dead.
Well, Genie just got taken. Do we know what happened to, what's his name, Ephraim?
he
That's
left.
even worse. That the last the High Regent saw us, he had just dissed us publicly and walked away.
Theo sort of stands up, dusting himself off.
Look, none of this is going to come back on any of you. We have many bigger problems on our hands right now than who to lay blame for this on.
Okay, well, we should tell the Tremere. They might be able to track their people down.
Theo sighs. God damn it, I hate warlocks.
Yeah, I know. Especially since they're probably going to look at us blamingly instead of, being thankful we told them.
Theo says, we might still be able to catch up with one of them. Ephraim can't move that fast with his fucking legs.
So, out of character, where's Valentine? Did he just leave?
He left a long
event
ago.
started?
He left a
Well,
long
he
time
left
ago,
the
yeah.
room, but I don't know if he left the garden.
He's only supposed to be here when there's an event going on. Otherwise, he doesn't really need to be here.
Fair enough. On that, well, anyway.
So,
Barnacle,
on the
you
way
know,
out, Theo begins the process of barking orders to Elysium security forces, who ended up hearing the screams and had sort of, like gathered, because, someone screaming inside Elysium is a big fucking deal. And Theo is turned into a maelstrom of orders, barking and sending people out left and right. Elysium security forces certainly motivated and now terrified. The main goal is, find that fucking imp! Meanwhile, Joseph Chung, he's
Back
left
back at the driver's seat of the bus.
That's right, he's left the precinct, man. You're standing outside the 114th precinct, Joseph Chung.
Feeling maybe a tiny bit too smug, a little bit more smug than he should.
What would you like to do?
Well, I've got nothing other major, and I need to wait to see what Roy about this. So he'll give the coterie a call.
Okay, Coterie, your phones are ringing while you're storming outside of Madison Square Garden on the heels of the Archon.
David presses the answer button, sticks to his ear, and says, "What?"
Did something go bad?
Yeah, Jeannie just got taken by one of those tentacles.
No, not just Genie, all the Tremere.
No, 4 Tremere.
Well, I don't know how many were left in the room. We just saw 4 get taken.
True, you only saw 4 get taken.
He's it's fucking bad. Shit, I'll be, I don't know what the fuck I can do, but I'll be down there. Yeah, he'll hang up and drive.
Theo actually doesn't get that far from the exterior of Madison Square Garden. Doesn't look like there's any kind around. Whenever 2 Elysium security force individuals end up walking back, and they're escorting, to put it lightly, the current High Regent, Lord Ephraim Wainwright. Which, where did I put his token? Where have you gone, High Regent?
Was the token taken as well?
My God, the imp has vanished from my token list. How did you disappear? You're right here. I thought. Oh, there you are.
Insert him into someone?
Motherfucker. How am I supposed to keep track of my cast of characters when you keep fucking hiding? And, he, for his part, is, walking along with some nobody Tremere. There we go. Some no names. They have names. They're not important. Ephraim's like, he sort of whirls around. Looks at the Nosferatu, outside here, and looks at the Archon and you two, like, what do you want, Archon? I thought our matter was finished unless there is something more that needs to be said, perhaps some greater discovery. Why are you looking at me like that? Theo just sort of storms right up to the imp, stares down, like, who all did you see whenever you left? What are you talking about, Archon? You know the thing we showed you? Yes, I told it. There were 4 of them. The tape only showed. No. 4 of them in Madison Square Garden. In what? The dwarf then peers around the Archon, looking at you 3.
Where's Eugenio?
Where indeed?
Wherever tentacles go after they decide to crawl back in the ground.
Japan?
Sure.
Does Marcus say Japan out loud?
No, that's me being out of character, being a smarmy out of character.
Okay. Just making sure.
What is this, some kind of joke, Archon?
The Archon first part does not look as if any humor has touched his face at all.
You're serious?
The other Tremere who are walking along the High Regent, look like a conflicted mixture of, confused, disbelief, and worry.
You know, Theo, I would have thought that we would have somehow grown to this point in our relationship where you could have actually said something to me that I could believe, really.
Theo responds with nothing.
Really?
Theo responds with nothing.
Archon, I know we have a shut up, imp.
Theo actually lowers his stature, like sort of squatting down.
We need to find your people. You need to find your people. These whatevers they are breaking not in front of just a sewer rat's lair. They're breaking into Elysium itself. And they took your own people. I saw it. They saw it. Stop being paranoid. We have shit to do.
Or, just being paranoid the right way. That's out of character, by the way.
And Ephraim shakes his head.
I don't understand. There is nothing capable of that power here. That we already dealt with him. Maybe you didn't. Because from what I've fucking seen, nothing just fucking breaks through the goddamn wooden floor, through concrete foundation, grabs people by the fucking waist, and drags them down with them, and the ground materializes back into existence. And I have seen a lot of shit, imp.
Theo actually ends up giving the Higher Regent a shove as he stands up.
Go back to your fucking chantry and pore over your books and consult your right. I don't care what you do. Fix this! 'Cause if I have to deal with any more shit, and this is your fault, 'cause you stirred up a hive's nest, and now there's a pissed off fiend who's still alive. So much for your Vienna assets.
The High Regent is sort of flabbergasted and is sputtering in an attempt to come up with some sort of insult or feedback or anything. Archon just walks off. Archon goes back into Madison Square Garden. Yeah, High Regent, his face is actually flushing up a little, as if, the stovetop hat is about to, steam right off his head. Go ahead.
I'll just kind of give him a long, quiet stare.
He's paying you no attention. Sort of wheels on his companions.
Don't just stand there, let's do something!
They all do their fucking warlock thing and scurry off.
So, all in favor of staying at Joseph's place for the night? I mean, tomorrow?
I'm, I don't know. I've still got to see the Nosferatu about this.
Okay.
The ground before you opens. Just wide enough. There is no sort of evil monstrosity tentacle, 20 to 25 feet emerging from a depth. Rather, it opens and then was sort of like a belch. In quick succession, there's one Tremere who apparently have had their necks squeezed so hard and they popped right off the body. There's one body, the head goes sailing. There's two bodies, the head goes sailing. Three, the head goes sailing. Each one just so happens to conspicuously land right in front of each of you. The head sort of planted right on top of the chest, looking up at you, faces frozen in horror and shock, eyes rolled back up into the head. All clearly have met final deaths. And then after a short little bit, a genie comes out, and it's the same exact thing. Only he's not facing towards you, but his neck has been broken off of his body.
And none of the Tremere are still around?
Nope. But you do hear a... What the fuck? As, Elysium Security Forces and Theo Bell, just sort of turns around. The whole sort of regurgitation sound was heard as the bodies were spit out, and then the hole closes right back up.
Byron backs away.
Theo looks down at the bodies, looks at you.
Are they just fucking with us?
Looks down at the bodies, looks back at you.
Because this, I mean...
Looks down at the bodies, looks back at you.
I don't know what to... This.
Elysium Security Force quickly emerges, and they take the bodies and they move them back into Elysium, leaving Theo standing there, looking at where the bodies were, and then back at you. What the fuck does this?
How the fuck does that even... I mean...
Okay.
Were those bodies just, now Theo, spit out of the ground?
Okay, I'm going to say it. What about Sublaud's grandsire?
Lombok-Ruthen, known coward. I'm pretty sure he has other fiend things to do than belch out bodies and... What the fuck?
Well, who else would have this power?
Theo,
This isn't I don't think this is Lom's MO either. I've never heard of him doing anything like this.
Theo takes off the glasses and actually puts his own head in his hand and says, I hate this city so much.
Well, I mean, you know what they say, if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere.
I need to call... Oh, God.
Pulls out his phone.
Ephraim, we found your people. No, you're gonna want to come back and, yeah, they're at the garden. Yeah, we found them. No, no, I, you're just gonna have to see.
Theo looks at one of the security forces and says,
Tell me we have a cat.
she nods.
Good. We're gonna have to review that. A lot. And I'm gonna need a drink.
I forget, does David have Gerard's number?
You do have a means by which to contact him, yeah. He gave one to you.
Alright, David's actually going to give him a call then.
Okay. The phone rings once, and then
David?
it has Gerard's voice.
Yeah, things are happening.
Things...
Jeannie's dead.
Really? Who would have attacked the Tremere? The Setites?
It looked like something flesh-crafted. It happened in Elysium.
There's a pause, a few beats.
Elysium?
Yeah, you might want to come down here. We've got some tapes to look at.
All right.
It came from underground.
David, when we had this discussion, I was really hoping you weren't right.
Yeah, that's you and me both. Just, and if you have anyone that knows anything about this kind of weird shit, bring them too. They'll want to look at this.
There's a long pause.
All right. Thanks for letting me know, David.
Just make it fast.
Hang up.
Yep. While he's doing that, Byron is actually going to call Valentine. I've been waiting for heads to stop rolling.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Valentine's the Keeper of Elysium and pretty much your main Vendrew contact. That's a really smart thing to do.
Marcus is going to
Which is
Joseph.
really not something I say about Byron very often.
Marcus has no one to call.
Alright. Phone rings a few times. Valentine's rakish voice. Hello?
Byron.
Hello, Valentine. This is Byron. As the Keeper of Elysium, I figured you might want to know that right after you left, 4 tentacles appeared in the middle of the garden and swallowed up 4 Tremere, including Jeannie. And a few moments later, spat them all out. They all met final death. Perhaps you want to get down here and get in front of this, or maybe inform other parties that might be interested. Just a heads up.
There's about
so
8
cordial.
seconds. And Valentine says,
Byron, is this you being oracular again?
No question.
You do realize this is a far-fetched story again, right?
Hey, man, if I'm lying, I'm dying.
You're already dead.
There you go. No risk. But seriously, you might want to check it out.
Damn it, I just left there. Fucking Tremere.
and Valentine hangs up. At this point, the Archon finishes barking at Elysium security forces and turns to look at the three of you.
So, guess I won't be suplexing you through the window, Marcus. I think I have other things to take care of.
Rain check?
Yes, I think you all can go back to your normal historian affairs. Rest assured that your elected officials. He chuckles.
Listen, this pretty much is my normal historian affairs, and I'm going to be waiting here for Gerard to show up. So do you want me to help you with anything in the meantime? Because I am happy to help Theo.
I think this is #1 priority on the list. I don't think there are any other situations right now, David.
Alright, well, I guess I can help your people clean up or something. I don't want to just sit on my ass while I wait for the Nosferatu to arrive.
No, they'll take care of that. They better take care of that. Not that there's a whole lot of cleanup to do anyway, what with...
Sort of looks down, at the fact that the sidewalk itself has completely reformed so that no evidence of passage exists.
Alright, well, if you end up needing help with something, just tell me.
Looks back down at the spot where the bodies were spit out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then David's gonna head back inside because, he's outside without his obfuscate up.
Yes. On the bright side, Theo didn't call him on it. That's a thing.
Yeah, I think that everyone was a little bit,
Theo himself walks back into Madison Square Garden saying, I hate this city. I hate this city. Sort of like a little mantra he keeps repeating to himself.
I don't know what Byron's doing, and Marcus is kind of just standing there dumbfounded. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, Byron's kind of in the same way. He's like, well, I don't want to. I mean, he's not going to be traveling alone. He's not going to take the subway. He's definitely going to take the Ouroboros cab because I don't know.
He's definitely going to take the Ouroboros cab.
He doesn't want to be underground with those frickin' tentacles. My goodness. Lesser of two evils, man.
The scary magic cabs that always keep you safe, or underground with magic tentacles?
Byron just steals one of them and just, sleeps in it for the rest of his days.
I mean, when you put it that way, maybe I should be renting a medallion from them.
Oh yeah, when Marcus calls Joseph, he gets just a answering machine.
Okay. I tried, guys.
Still broadcasting phone. We're not anymore now.
So yeah, I guess Byron will just sit there and wait until he sees Valentine come in or something, and he'll nod at him as he comes in, I guess.